Dinner for shoes, please. Hello and welcome to an episode of Dinner for Shoes, all about Cannes. I had to put on my Jacquemus bag to talk about Cannes. No, but so yeah, Cannes. I of course Googled how to pronounce Cannes just to make sure. I was pretty sure it was Cannes. But I definitely Googled it. I really like the pronunciation. I don't know if this is like a new AI tool or if it's been there for a while. I really don't know. I should know better. Clearly, we all know my pronunciations suck. But I like the little tool that it looks like a mouth and you press the mouth and then it plays and it's just like can. And I just play it over and over and over again. And I say it out loud to Trish and Kit. I'm like, well, I get it. Okay. This is a very special episode of Dinner for Shoes because you will get to see in real time my food being delivered. It's literally supposed to be here anywhere from 1:53 to 1:55. So you can kind of get to see what happens when food is here and how I panic. And yeah, I am currently boycotting DoorDash. Well, I was boycotting DoorDash because they messed up my Mother's Day flour order and they only refunded me half, even though the order was never delivered and it was confirmed to be picked up by the Kroger in Bluffton, South Carolina. This is such a tangent, but I just want to say that I decided I wasn't going to be using DoorDash anymore. I literally went to Seamless. They're probably owned by the same company. And I was on there and I was looking up Elysian Cafe, which is a French cafe in Hoboken. I was France, Cannes is in France, have to get from a French restaurant, whatever. I find them on Seamless. And then I'm wait, but you're under Nick's DoorDash double dash something dash account that gets you a discount every time you place an order. You must use DoorDash. And that's how they get you. That is how they fucking get you. Anyway, today's episode is called Elysian Cafe and Cannes because we are talking about my best dressed at Cannes. We also talked to stylist Amanda Lim about her brilliance. She's been in the industry for such a long time, literally since 2011, and she has helped so many stylists along the way. She's met so many celebrities at Cannes. She was the perfect person to talk to about Cannes in general and the red carpet bonanza that it literally is. And your dasher is nearby. Oh my God, I'm so excited. So you're gonna see the food get delivered. And let's just go over what I'm wearing before the food gets here so we can get that out of the way. And yeah, this dress is by Sézane. And they are a French brand. And I'm obsessed with this dress. I've had it for 2 summers now. There is this pretty eyelet crochet detailing. I'm obsessed with the color palette. This is a very me color palette. There's literally no better dress to wear this Jacquemus bag with. It matches perfectly from the little pink rings to the purple corduroy. I just love it. This is one of my favorite bags of all time. It's so old. I actually have to get it repurposed and bring it to a leather cleaner or a shoe store so that they can fix up the corduroy. But anyway, I love it. It's a great little envelope bag / clutch. My fave come summer. Oh, my dasher's here. Oh, you can come on up. I didn't realize that was him. Don't worry. Exterior door. He's here. Okay, come in. Now I hope he also comes up. I'm gonna buzz the interior door. Did it work? Let's see if I get a knock on my door soon. It worked. I love that just happened in real time. I love that for us. And I love that for Cannes. So anyway, this dress, I'm obsessed with it because it's backless. I do always get there. Oh, my back just cracked so good. Oh yeah. I'm gonna go the other way. Oh my God, yeah. Okay. That was necessary, clearly. I ran this morning, so it's probably why. So I am obsessed with this dress. It goes without saying that it's the perfect summertime dress. It's also lightweight. And yeah, it happens to hit me right at the ankle so I can have a shoe moment. It's probably supposed to be a midi dress, but them's the breaks. Is that the saying? I don't know. But yeah, I'm short, so I'm just kind of simultaneously thinking about how the dasher is going to be here in a second, but also thinking about how I'm short. I feel like I hear something. Knock on my door. Trish just jumped. Hi, how are you? Thank you so much. Have a good day. Wow, I love, not DoorDash. I love food delivery, not DoorDash. I just love food delivery, okay? DoorDash, please give me, if you are watching this, DoorDash, please give me back my refund for not delivering my mom's flowers on Mother's Day. Anyway, aside from this lovely dress, I am also wearing, when food literally interrupts fashion, it just happens. If anyone was going to be responsible for that, it would be DoorDash. And so I'm also wearing my And Other Stories sandals. These are very comfortable. I think I specifically like them because my entire foot bed like just slips down into here instead of there being like a strap in between, blisters. This is a really great sandal. They're classic, they're knotted, they're kind of off-white, so they aren't like super dental white, which I hate that in anything. And yeah, I need to put them on just to make room for Elysian Cafe's food. But I will finalize this outfit by just saying that of course, I have the Jacquemus bag, and then I'm also wearing these heart drop earrings and a really pretty delicate bracelet that has all the same colors as my dress. I just love it. And I actually looked this up. Well, no, I thought to myself, you should look this up, but I was putting on the heart earrings that are pink to match with like the shade of pink in my dress. And I was like, yeah, because Paris is the city of love. And then I was like, no, Paris is the city of light, Sarah. Paris, city of light or love. Wow, other people were confused like me, which never happens. Okay, so Paris became a central hub for culture during this time. All right, clearly that was in the middle of a sentence. But it's dubbed the City of Lights. So I did correct myself in real time and I was correct. It is the City of Lights, but it's a very romantic city. So I decided to wear my heart earrings. Sue me. All right, let's talk about my best dressed at Cannes. I am also recording this, by the way, when there's still a little bit of time left at Cannes, which is something that you will see Amanda and I talk about it during our conversation. Just the fact that Cannes is such a red carpet like sensation because it goes on for so many days. And there's not just a red carpet, but there's also a photo call. And my very favorite thing about Cannes is that, and Amanda corrected me when I said this, but I love all the street style looks where you have the celebrities going from like event to event or just like exiting their hotel, like stepping out for an Aperol Spritz. And she's like, no, they are literally being cornered by their hotel. Like they are not having a street style moment. And I'm like, all right, like I probably could have guessed that. But I like to like call it street style. You know, you see them like getting off the boats and I'm just like, that's such a chic look. I like their like daytime looks just as much and sometimes even more than I like their red carpet looks because I feel like it's just so Parisian cool. And we're going to talk about some of those because when I talk about my Cannes best dressed, I can't just talk about the red carpet. I have to talk about it all. So let me pull out my notes here. And again, a reminder that yes, Cannes is still going on. So there's probably going to be red carpet looks that I love that both Amanda and I discussed today that happened after this was recorded. But that's what has to happen, you know? That's what has to happen when you are a podcast and you have to go into production. I also forgot to mention this, and my notes just reminded me. And Other Stories has a very Parisian, that's why like I chose them for my shoes. I'm like a kindergarten teacher. And Other Stories has a very they like to like talk about Parisian style a lot. They're definitely inspired by Parisian style as a brand. So that was my intention with going with And Other Stories. Sorry if you just heard the bag crinkling. Okay, but let's talk about some of my personal favorite looks from Cannes. And then we're gonna dive into what I got from Elysian Cafe, the French Cafe in Hoboken. Kit, I know you wanna be in on this. I know you think your outfits are good for Cannes. Come on in. Kit, come over. Come, I see the way you're looking at me. I know that you are ready for your cue. And Trish, I see you too. Come over. Okay, so In the name of Jacquemus, let's talk about the first look at Cannes this season that literally left me like weak at the knees. I was like, oh my God, I need to be wearing that right now. Was Anya Taylor-Joy, who has been wearing Jacquemus at Cannes. And she wore this sheer dress with these floral embroideries all over it. It's got like a built-in bodysuit and this incredible hat with a contrasting black ribbon so that she could let the hat kind of fall off and like gracefully kind of like float over her hair. And she wore strappy shoes with that look. I also love, she wore Jacquemus yet again. She wore this like cool strapless dress. It's this like really pretty copper color and it's kind of gathered at the top and on the side. And she wore it with another extravagant hat. And there's this video of her just being so stressed and honestly exactly what Amanda is about to tell me, as you'll see, probably just like frustrated that she just wants to get like from her hotel to wherever she has to go and she's trying to sign autographs. And I just love this video. I think I watched it like 42 times. I probably had a gummy or something, but I just watched it over and over and over again. She's just looking amazing in all of these looks. And let me just stop and say that because we just talked about her hat, we also do need to talk about how hats are definitely having a moment at Cannes this season. Margaret Qualley also wore one. She was wearing Chanel, but to her photo call, and it was also huge and just kind of like floppy and amazing. So my very favorite look from Cannes, and I don't think that this will be beaten, is Isolde in this incredible Dior outfit. They reinvented the new look in this incredible ensemble. It's black and white. Again, we've got another hat going on here. And when I saw it, I was just like, this is so France. She matched with your body, literally. Black and white. You were the inspiration for the new look. Christian Dior's new look. It came from you. Okay. So that was definitely my like all-time favorite. I also really like the Anya Taylor-Joy. Like when I think about Cannes this year, I'm thinking about Anya Taylor-Joy and I'm thinking about the recreation of the new look there. But Hunter Schafer was also there and I always love a Hunter Schafer moment. She looks amazing. I loved her in this Armani dress. She had a lot of great looks and they were all very inventive the way they always are. But this was just this cool liquid effect dress that I loved. I loved seeing Law Roach there with Naomi Campbell. We kind of don't know who he's going to agree to dress or not dress on the red carpet these days because he's kind of like shifting in his career path, but he matched with Naomi and Chanel. Naomi actually re-wore one of her looks from the archives. It's actually from fall 1996, designed by Karl Lagerfeld, and she brought it back. Amanda and I will talk about this in our interview, as you'll see, but we just really love the idea of bringing back archival pieces and repeating outfits. So I think it's really cool that she did that, especially given like everyone's kind of lack of resources this day and age and the strive towards sustainability. But I really liked Law Roach's look specifically here because I like that he was doing the double bag trend in this really chic way on the red carpet. And yeah, I loved like the shimmering cardigan. It was awesome. Someone else whose look I really like was Lily Gladstone. She wore this incredible custom Balenciaga dress. It was gold and it was a reinterpretation of a 1959 dress, which is stunning. I really like all of these new reinterpretations and repeating. It's almost like we're getting so bored of like the new, and we're looking back at the old and we're like, wait, this shit is even cooler, which I've always been saying. I've always been in that camp. I did think Selena Gomez's outfits were really good. She's the only person you'll see on this list twice besides Anya Taylor-Joy. I already just screwed myself by saying that, but I really liked how she arrived. One of her first looks, she was wearing this self-portrait cord set with Roger Vivier slingbacks, and I thought she looked so good. And then we soon saw her in this Giambattista Valli incredible mid-length teacup dress with rosettes all along the neckline, and I thought it looked stunning on her. She was wearing this like ear crawler with it, and it was just very Selena, and she looked and felt very natural in it. It was easy to see. Now, Sienna Miller, who's always a favorite of mine, was on the red carpet as well, but I actually liked her photo call look. She was wearing Schiaparelli, and it was like this double waistband cargo denim look with nothing on under her jacket, just so effortlessly cool and bohemian the way she always is. So I loved that. I love seeing Sienna Miller. And actually, as you'll soon find out, Amanda's client, Georgia, was in the same movie as Sienna Miller. So you'll see them on the red carpet together. Stay tuned. I thought Emma Stone, I'm not always a fan of everything Emma Stone wears, but I really, really did like she works with Petra Flannery, and she wore this cool Louis Vuitton look for her photo call look. Again, another call out to the classic black and white moment. And finally, as Amanda and I do talk about, there are two people we are very excited always to see at Cannes. One is Demi Moore, who got the longest standing ovation so far when I'm recording this for her movie. But she wore this really great Elie Saab polka dot look. Polka dots are having a moment right now. They're really in, but there was this sexy slit for a peep of cleavage that I really liked. And she wore a black and white cap toe pump with that, which was just really chic. And finally, Cate Blanchett, which we love seeing Cate Blanchett on every red carpet. That's no surprise. But she works with Elizabeth Stewart, and she wore this amazing Hayter Ackerman for Jean Paul Gaultier dress. And there is this green satin lining of this dress so that when she walked on the red carpet, you could see the peep of green. And the way it complemented the rest of that color blocking moment was just incredible. So those are my favorite Cannes looks so far. I'm just double checking. Oh, I will say one more. Uma Thurman. Love Uma Thurman. I love how she made a floor-length trench with a sweeping train, red carpet chic. She was wearing Burberry, and I thought this look was just so stunning. I liked that her hair was back because it really allowed for a full moment on the situation that was going on. And those are my favorite Cannes looks from 2024. Now, let's talk about Elysian Cafe. Elysian Cafe is where Nick and I had our second or third date. I think it was it was our third. It was technically our third. No, it was our second formal date. He always says that he thought he lost me. And now there are 2 boxes in here, but I definitely only ordered one thing. So I'm like, what did I get wrong? DoorDash, blame it on DoorDash. He says he thought that he lost me after this date because he thought that the food was not bad. The food is never bad at Elysian. I like Elysian and I love their cocktails, but he said that he thought that we were sitting in kind of a dark and dingy area. There was no one really near us. He just thought it was an awkward date. So he always says that. He's like, Elysian, the place where we almost didn't make it. But oh my God, this does look really good. And they did it right. Go DoorDash. They gave you some mixed greens here, which I will try. But the star of the show, really, and what I really want to talk about, what I want to display on my little Lazy Susan, and what I want to take a photo of is this salmon BLT, which they are famous for. If you go to Elysian's page, you will see that is the one thing that people get over and over and over again. Now, it doesn't have bacon on it, and right now I'm really just doing the pescatarian thing, so I was all about this. It has avocado, it has a dill cream. Oh my God, I'm nestling it in my bed of lettuce here just so everyone can see. DoorDash is asking me how the experience was because they're probably like, you said you were gonna boycott and then you didn't. But yeah, let's just take a freaking great shot of this Elysian Cafe. A salmon BLT. Who doesn't love a salmon BLT? That looks phenom.com. All right, let's dive in. I need to take a bite of this, and then you need to go listen to my interview with Amanda while I eat this. Oh my God. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. That is so freaking good. Okay. How come I do this every time I try food before I tell you what I think of it? I'm just okay. Okay, what? Okay. This is what I need to say about this. This is a double-decker sandwich. It's a double-decker sandwich. So as a club, it normally is, Sarah. But so there's 3 slices of bread here, right? Here's what I'm going to say. The salmon, incredible. Very well done. I also ordered this the second that the restaurant opened, so hopefully, ideally, it is fresh. 2, next important thing. The tomato, great, fresh, awesome. Avocado, great, fresh, perfect amount of avocado. The dill cream needs to be placed on this slice of bread as well. I want to taste this. Surprisingly, I do have a big mouth. And surprisingly, I sometimes can't fit a sandwich into it. And so sometimes the sandwich will break off into pieces almost. I know I'm going on another tangent, but basically what I'm saying is that if I just get a bite of like the salmon, I want that dill cream involved. You see what I'm saying? I want it involved. So I'm just going to say that they need to put the dill cream a little bit more. The avocado amount is perfect. The tomato amount is perfect. I love it. Go Elysian. Elysian just gained back its reputation. It may have veered me and Nick and I, our relationship on the wrong path way back when, but we are back in business. Go ahead and listen to my conversation with Amanda Lim, who is an awesome stylist, and hear what she has to say about Cannes because, oh my God, she knows so much more than me. Bye.
Well, my name is Amanda Lim. I guess my first real exposure to the industry was back in summer 2011. I got an internship as the fashion closet intern at Nylon magazine. I would say that every internship I did from there was sort of informed by that one. It was a very impressionable, impactful experience. Or I should say I was impressionable. The experience itself was very impactful. I learned everything. I learned everything that I started to learn in a deep way when I went into fashion assisting at Nylon in regards to editorial styling. And it was sort of there that I was introduced to like the modern definition of a fashion stylist, whereas like maybe pre-exposure at Nylon, I just knew of the fashion editor. And while you could say that like both are one and the same, there are obviously nuanced differences when you move from editorial to celebrity.
Totally.
And I started to learn like what all of that was starting there, and then everything that went forward. I moved to LA in June 2013. And by then I had worked at Nylon. I had worked at KCD Worldwide. I worked at Black Frame PR. And so I actually got to meet the Rodarte sisters in my really young and early days. Previously at KCD, Preble Guron was the first client that I had exposure to on the PR side of things, which was really great. He's a lovely man and a very talented designer. And we still have a relationship to this day that I like to always think was born there, but I don't think it really was. I think he didn't register who I was until I started assisting like the bigger celebrity stylists a few years later. But regardless, he is just one of the most lovely designers I have the pleasure of working with. And I really appreciate not just his design sensibilities, but like his real deep humanity. He's a good one. When I got to LA, I had one more stop on the internship train. I worked at Who What Wear.
Okay.
Under Kat Collins and Michelle Skanga. At the time, Lori Trott was their fashion editor and doing all of their celebrity editorials. And I actually worked for Lori when I was at Nylon. So we got to work together again. And then she was really the fashion editor who wrote my first recommendation letter for a job. I went to work at Richemont North America, and I was placed on the Chloe account, the Van Cleef and Arpels account, the Cartier account, and then I also was introduced to the world of watches and like watch placement on men on the red carpet. So I learned all of that there, and then I decided through that experience and after having also observed the business at KCD and at Black Frame that PR just really was not something I was as passionate about as styling. So I went back to styling. in 2014. I really cut my teeth in terms of building my confidence and my network as Aaron Walsh's West Coast assistant. I did that in tandem with Adam Ballheim, who's also a big stylist to, you know, Machine Gun Kelly, Jared Leto, and other people like that now. So Adam and I were sort of like East Coast, West Coast first assistant team for Aaron Walsh for about 2.5 years, I would say. Yeah. And I would say in like around about 2015, so this was like a year into me freelancing and holding down the fort for Aaron, I met Elizabeth Stewart. I started freelancing for her for a significant amount of time. And then when her assistant, Katie Boschover, who's now moved on and a represented artist and dresses many amazing people over at A-Frame Agency, I replaced Katie at Elizabeth's, and I was full-time with Elizabeth for 2 years. That's where I finished my assistant run, and then I started my own business in early 2018, and I've been working as a solo artist since then. And yeah, I feel like my first big exposure to Cannes actually happened on the second day of my full-time position at Elizabeth's studio. And I went last year, and of course I have a client there this year. I'm not there myself this year, but yeah, I have a real soft spot for Cannes. I love it so much. It's like peak industry chaos besides the Met, I would say.
Yeah.
I would even say like the Oscars and BAFTAs are like one chaos tier below. And it's really like the Met and Cannes that are
but like even
really substantial in the red carpet world.
Totally. But even those, it's like, you know, it is one night. And of course, like the parties that follow and lead up. But Cannes is just like this long period of time where it's just like another look and another look. So, I mean, I think it's
so fun. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
to like have someone on the jury. Yeah, that's just, it's so fun. Which obviously like we have to do a lot with Elizabeth's roster of clients. So.
Yeah. And just to speak to your trajectory, like you have known so many great names and so many people and brands in the industry. So it definitely like paid off for you. And it's just funny, just going back to that. I feel like you and we started in the same way. Like I started in like the fashion closet at Cosmo, and then I was like a digital intern at Nylon. And then I was like, now I know that I want to write. And you were like, I'm going to take the stylist route. So it's very interesting to hear about everyone's careers and how it like kind of informs where they come out to be. But yeah, so obviously Cannes is a very special moment for you for dressing. So what do you think like makes your process different when you're dressing a client for Cannes versus like any other red carpet?
I would just say the main thing is that it's much more focused, a lot more edited. It's not like, by contrast, doing a press tour fitting, you might want to take a wider reach so that you can show your client an array of options that could be appropriate for a press junket, a photo call, street style shots, television shows, things like that. Like you need a wider range, but with Cannes, when you're specifically dressing for that big carpet, it's a lot more focused for me, at least in my process.
Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about your client, who you're dressing, and about like what your focus was specifically this season.
Yeah, so it was a little bit of a different client ask this year, simply because this is her first trip to the Cannes Film Festival. Her name is Georgia MacPhail. She has a lead role playing the daughter of Sienna Miller's character in Kevin Costner's new film, Horizon, an American Saga. And so this is sort of like her introduction to the industry, which of course presents a whole different energy in regards to the lead up and all of the prep that goes into it before. I think that she and her family were super excited about it, and also were looking to learn and establish sort of what their vibe and contributions will be to this space, or how they want to develop their own designer relationships. So a lot of this was very new in that regard. Like Jordan had never done a big carpet before. She is dined with some pretty heavy hitter, like influential members of the industry on like the agency, publicity, and management side of things. And so, of course, these folks have a certain level of exposure and experience with other clients who have attended the Cannes Film Festival. So it's quite exciting on one level to like make sure that Georgia feels looked after and safe and like herself, but also at the same time introducing her to this world that is a little bit like left of reality or unreal and elevated in that way, and sort of balancing the two dichotomies.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so for me, like when I look at celebrity style at Cannes, whether it's a newcomer or not, I always love that there is kind of like that off-duty look, which is still so not off-duty because it's styled, but it's like the daytime, maybe photo call or en route to like an event or whatever, versus like the red carpet, which is a little bit more glamorous. So do you want to talk about maybe your favorite looks that you styled for Georgia, and if there was any like inspiration behind them?
Yeah, so Georgia had such a quick trip to Cannes this year. Honestly, I could probably talk a little bit more about some of the other street style looks that my peers have styled that I found so amazing. But Georgia needed one look for her photo call and one look for the premiere. She ended up wearing Alexander Vautier archival couture from fall 2018. And then she wore current Dolce & Gabbana for the Horizon premiere carpet. And I agree with you though. Like, I think it's so fun to watch all the street style looks, but I like want people to know that it really is peak chaos. Like when you see photos of these beautiful and like talented people like out and about, they're not out and about. They are like cornered right in front of their hotel. I mean, they probably took about 5 steps and then had to like get in a car, drive 200 meters and get dropped off the carpet. Like it is such a small, concentrated space, really, that there is a lot of like smoke and mirrors and magic that goes into like making someone look like they're just walking around. I'm sorry to be that person.
No. That's like the most important.
No, honestly.
Yeah, no, I think that's what everyone really wants to know. Like, what is it really like? And that's obviously like what my podcast, like what I like to do anyway, is just get real. So I'm glad you said that. But just because you did say that, like, you are excited to talk about some of like your peers and the street style or whatever, are there any trends you're noticing this season so far? Or are there any looks, maybe stylist and celebrity whose partnership you're noticing that you just think they're doing like an incredible job this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think like the biggest newcomer relationship that is playing out really well at Cannes for me is between Bella Hadid and Molly Dixon. I love that. And I'm so excited for Molly. She absolutely works so hard and deserves all of that recognition and platform. I've been loving the looks just organically. I think that they're young, fresh, timeless, and very sexy. So, and I think that, they acknowledge Hollywood glamour, but like Bella still looks her like herself and like her age and, aspirational. And I love all of that. I love all the 90s references. But cohesively, I would just say like Molly's body of work has been like very tightened up and edited and tuned into all of those things, like perfection. But I also like love Hunter Schafer and her stylist Dara and what they do. Yeah. Me and my client Emma Myers have been working together for a few years now, and honestly, like we've been saying since we met that like Hunter is really so aligned with a lot of Emma's sensibilities, and I feel like it's just become more apparent since she started working with Dara. So it's another favorite collab. Like I love seeing Greta Gerwig, who I think is like the most gracious person. I love seeing her as president of the Cannes jury, and I think that Carla Welch has been doing an incredible job there. She looks so good.
So good.
I have to admit, I actually am not sure who's styling to me more, but whoever's doing it is doing an amazing job. She, like, looks timeless. I think
so
she has
good.
aged in 40 years or something like that. She's just unbelievable. I can't, it's hard to behold how beautiful she is.
Truly.
But yeah, and then obviously, like, for me, a staple is Kate Blanchett on the carpet. I just always have a good association with that memory of working with her when I was Elizabeth's assistant. So it's always nice to see her out on the carpet. And I especially love that she and Elizabeth have been doing a ton of re-wearing over the last 3 years. I think that's really, really important as the landscape of the industry changes, and therefore, like, our resources for us to do our job changes. I think it's really important to encourage and bolster the idea of sustainability through re-wearing perfectly beautiful looks. So those are some of my favorites.
I love
besides getting to work on Georgia, who was so sweet.
I love that you said that, though, and even you said that Georgia wore like an archival piece, and I think that's another great way to like tap into the sustainability, the resources that you have and everything. So that is awesome. And yeah, I just saw Demi in like that Ellie Saab, that polka dot dress, and I was like, this is just incredible. And then my mom sent me a link that like that movie received like the longest standing ovation so far this year after it premiered. So now I'm like, yeah.
It's so funny how the standing ovations really are such a thing along with red carpet fashion at Cannes. I feel like it's so connected to, it's just like where everyone who really, really loves it, like lives and dies by cinema, like it goes every year, or at least, multiple times. I met a man when I was having drinks with one of my manager friends on the Croisette last year, who's like, it's my 42nd year at Cannes.
Wow.
We were like, we're not that old. But I love that. I think that's amazing. Like that legacy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally. I completely agree. So I guess on that note, that this is a good time to venture into just kind of like iconic moments. Do you have any favorites? I know everyone always talks about Cannes. They talk about like the celebrities who have kind of like kicked off their heels just to make a statement. Like you have like Kristen Stewart and Julia Roberts in the past. Are there any like memorable red carpet moments for you that like you consistently think of when you think of Cannes?
Yeah, well, I was actually in Cannes with Elizabeth and Julia when she did the no shoes.
Oh, awesome.
Moment. So that was like a team moment, which was really amazing. And I would also be remiss not to mention Jessica Chastain, who always looks like the highest level of glamorous on the carpet and otherwise. But it's always just really nice to see her thrive where she does really, really well, which is like classic Hollywood glamour. So shout out Jess. I think one of my favorites of recent years has to be Elle Fanning in that custom Vivienne Westwood.
I know what you're talking about. Well, Elle Fanning is just, she's magical regardless.
Yeah. It was cool. Like I made my first movie in 2015. It's called The Neon Demon, and it starred Elle Fanning and had its world premiere at Cannes, which is really exciting. And it was actually premiering the same year that I was there with Elizabeth and Jessica and Julia. So it was really crazy, like running into Elle at the Carlton and like seeing her walk out the door with Samantha, where I was like, oh my gosh, I was like the costume assistant on that movie. It was, so cool.
Well, I loved that movie. And I mean, that's such a feat. And I think you bring up another really good point too, that I think a lot of people don't think about often, but just the fact that like, as a stylist, like an established stylist like yourself, like you've been in the industry for a long time. So you were assisting other stylists and you got to like meet other celebrities that way. And even though they're not your clients now, like you have this like fashion history with them because of that, which is really cool.
Well, that I appreciate. Plus, if you really traced all the connective tissue in my current career and my current client roster, you will see that most of my current clients are represented by the same teams that represent those bigger ladies. And so my point being, for young people that are newer in the business, really wanting to cut their teeth as a stylist and work their way up, this is another perfect example of how like relationships really are everything, especially in entertainment and fashion, which are effectively one and the same to me. But those same teams that you're working with when you're an assistant, like develop personal rapport with them, like be accountable for your actions, do what you say you're going to do, be a professional, and like trust me when you're ready to start your own thing. Like they will help you so much more than if you don't water those relationships, really.
Great point. And I love to end on that note too, just like you giving the advice, because I hope that those are the type of people that are listening to this podcast. So thank you so much. Okay, we are back. Thank you so much for listening to my conversation with Amanda. I hope you learned about Cannes the same way I did, because I swear to God, in my little pretty little head, I was thinking that the celebrities were just like walking all over Cannes, like going boating, like they weren't going anywhere. So now I know. Okay, can you just, I was going to give you some salmon. Do you want some salmon on the screen from my sandwich? I thought you would like. Here, look. The purring started immediately. Chew. Oh, what are you, a dog? You're going to have to chew that up, sweetie. Yeah, really get in there. Okay, and then just one piece. Nick, that didn't just happen. Like, subscribe. I'll see you next week. Bye.